Dan and Amy, who's also a woman like Helen Reddy.
I am? Well, today I'm feeling more like a man, so I could use your washroom.
Let me...
It's gross. I would never actually step foot in the men's washroom. Ugh.
That's on my list of things I'm voting against tomorrow, dudes in the ladies' room. Adding to that list all morning, taking your calls and texts. Here's a question for you, Me. What do you think happens tomorrow?
What do I think? I'm back and forth. I'm a hot mess over here. There's a lot of vacillation going on because I talked to some of my Republican friends. None of them voted for Donald Trump. Then I met some Democrats who all voted for Donald Trump. So it's all over the board.
They make a cream now to clear up that vacillation.
Oh, they do?
Let me suggest what I think is going to happen. It's the only way
sorry. What do you think is going to happen?
It's the only way this can end. It's the only appropriate way for this to end.
It will end.
Trump wins with exactly 270 electoral votes and loses the popular vote.
Oh, wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, here's what I'm scared of.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I'm scared of civil disobedience, whether Hillary
civil
wins.
Disobedience?
Well, as we say, violence. Violence in Mount Prospect.
There'd be nothing civil about it.
But that's even if Hillary wins, I think some people are going to flip some cars over. And if Trump wins, I think people are going to flip some cars over and set them on fire.
All right. Anchor down your cars, according to Amy Jacobson, regardless of the outcome tomorrow. Interesting piece in the Federalist last week from a woman, a mom, in North Carolina, swing state.
Swing.
And Trump has moved up.
He has.
He's swinged his way to the front. And there's the title of this piece, I'm a woman, I'm voting for Trump. And it wasn't even a close call. Her name is Katelyn Crist, and she joins us now. Katelyn, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi. Happy to be on the show.
So the title of the piece, I'm a woman, I'm voting for Trump, and it wasn't even a close call. On what basis are you voting for Trump? What was the key issue or issues that turned you to Trump?
You know, the main reason that I ended up fully supporting Donald Trump for president is I got my health care plan notice on November 1st about how everything was going to change in 2017. And I was reading through this letter and just becoming more incensed at what was going to take place next year. And I had an opportunity to write an article, so I was hoping to reach people who shared the additional concern about the rising healthcare costs.
So are you a single issue voter? I mean, is this the only reason why you're voting for Donald Trump?
It's not the only reason, but the healthcare issue has such an effect on a family's overall household. A lot of people say, oh, it's a single issue, but it's really not, because it is affecting your choices. It's affecting your budget and how you can spend your money elsewhere. And if that's not being able to go towards saving and retirement and so many other things being put back into the economy through purchases, it's going to leave a lot of middle-class families with quite a bit less money.
Were you an undecided until the open enrollment period began and you got the notice that detailed your premium increase?
I was not entirely undecided. I was leaning towards Trump simply because he was the Republican nominee, and I did want to support the Republican platform through whoever was nominated. Mm-hmm. But there's certainly some things about Donald Trump that give you pause in terms of throwing your support behind him. But I also came to the conclusion that there's a lot about Hillary Clinton to give a lot of pause. So I went with the party.
What about, you're in Charlotte. What about what's happened in Charlotte the last couple of months, that police-involved shooting that led to some violence in the streets of Charlotte and some real tense moments and perhaps lingering tension? Does that impact how you think the vote's going to go in Charlotte and North Carolina generally?
You know, I honestly am not sure about that. It was a very scary couple of days there, especially since I have friends with husbands on the police force and also in our fire department. And the outbreak of civil unrest and disobedience was quite shocking. I think most people saw Charlotte as being a place where views could be expressed without violence, and that certainly changed. I don't know how much of an impact it's going to have on the voters, but it certainly did spark many movements to support our officers a bit more.
And the candidate that supports officers in your mind is Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump. Definitely. He is. He's been more vocal about supporting our servicemen and our civil employees, such as police officers and firemen.
Yeah, I think that's been lost a little bit down the stretch, is that distinction between which party is affiliating with and taking direction from Black Lives Matter, and which candidate and party is decidedly on the side of law enforcement and first responders, thinking about local law enforcement. I think that maybe needs to be accentuated here in the closing hours. Another question for you. It's interesting too, because the discussion of the female vote particularly pertains to Trump because of his past bad acts and bad rhetoric. But there's really a distinction there. The married women, Trump is actually winning. Single women, he's getting his clock cleaned, just like Mitt Romney did 4 years ago, and Republicans have historically. Single women is the real demographic that Republicans have trouble with, much more so than married women. I wonder if you see that distinction within your own circle of friends and your own circle of influence.
I have. I think a lot of the millennial women and even some of the late Gen Xers, especially the ones who are single, they are viewing this election as based on gender. They want to vote for the first female president. They want to empower other women to have goals and dreams, and they think by voting for Hillary Clinton that will become more of a reality. But interesting, I actually have come across so many married women upset with Donald Trump's nomination that they were abandoning a lot of their principles to vote for Hillary Clinton. And then on the flip side, I've seen a lot of other single women who can see past the female voter issue and vote for Donald Trump. As you said earlier, there's Democrats voting for Trump, there's Republicans voting for Clinton. It's really been just a wild election season. It's been hard to get a tap on who's voting for what and why, and there's been some surprises.
Hey, Katelyn, have you been surprised by any of your friends who are upset with you that you're supporting Donald Trump or that you wrote that article?
Yes, actually. Most people have been supportive, whether or not they agree with my particular conclusion. But I have had a few people upset with me, writing me, how could you? He's a xenophobic, he's homophobic, he's demeaning towards women. And my response to them has just been, both parties have had some massive allegations thrown at them. And we've certainly heard both candidates say some pretty awful things. I mean, I think I'm considered one of the deplorables by Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. So there's been a lot of talk from both sides. And what I've encouraged people to go back to is look at the parties' platforms and vote for how that is going to shape our nation for the next 4 years, and indeed with the Supreme Court justices for decades.
Katelyn, can I tell you something about those friends that are upset with you? They're not your real friends.
Will you stop?
She is Katelyn Crist.
I know what she's going through.
North Carolina mom. The piece, we've tweeted it out, posted as well. The piece is women voting for Donald Trump, and it wasn't even a close call. Katelyn Crist from North Carolina, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.